I came on the radio, go, excuse me, I'm going to curse. I go, we can win this race. Like, it hit me. I was like, we can win this race. Like,
Great feeling.
We got this. You know what I mean?
Frankie, last time we had you in the Freak Nation, we talked about that trip down memory lane about driving in the Atlantics and the open wheel series. And now that you have the first race under your belt running on those General tires in the ARCA Series, you seem almost excited. However, you've talked about being a road course guy. Yep. This ain't a road course, man.
It is not a road course. I would say now that I've done both, I've had a few late model races I did last year on the ovals, Daytona. I don't think I've ever experienced more intense racing than what we do in the stock cars.
Come on.
No,
come on.
No, I'm the hugest IndyCar fan there is. As a fan, I love that racing. I love watching it. But I think about when I was in those races, when I was doing those races, you've got really intense starts, right? We had the standing starts. Everyone's crazy, but then it kind of gets single file, and you're really kind of competing against one guy in front of you or trying to keep someone behind you, hoping they make a mistake. But a lot of the races, like Formula One races, finish how they start. You know what I mean? In the NASCAR stuff, in the stock car stuff, you're always in a crazy battle. You're always three wide. You're always, in so much going on, whether you're racing for first or you're racing for 31st. And I think it's the most intense thing I've ever done in my entire life, by far.
I don't want to put the cart before the horse, as the saying's gone on for the last 300 years. Sorry I had to use that one. But you don't have your road course race until July, man. You're going to be like 6 years older by the time you get to that. But is it something that, granted, it is July, is it something that you look forward to and think you're going to have an advantage over some of these drivers, given your road course protocol?
Unlike where everyone else is comfortable on the ovals and maybe less comfortable on the road courses, I am comfortable on the road courses. So I'm more confident, obviously, showing up to a Mid-Ohio where I've raced a ton of times. I know the track. I know, my abilities on a road course. Obviously driving a 3,400-pound ARCA car is going to be completely different than driving an Atlanta car. But in that same sense, my brain understands the concept of racing on a road course. So I'm hoping that, yes, it does bring me an advantage. There are tracks that on the schedule that I am going to struggle at. I've never been on dirt on anything. You know what I mean? So I know when I show up there, I'm at a disadvantage everywhere because I've never been anywhere. But at the same time, I know I'm going to probably struggle there. So I look forward to the ones, or at least being able to enter the weekend feeling like this is my weekend. Mindset is so much in this sport. You know what I mean? If you show up and think, man, I don't know, I might be slow, you probably will be. You know what I mean? Because it's such a mental game. But in that same sense, I'm showing up here knowing that at Phoenix, I know I have a very steep learning curve, a very short amount of time to get up to speed, and I'm racing against guys who've been here a bunch of times before. But I'm a race car driver. I'm not doing this as a hobby. I'm trying to be the best, and I'm gonna give it my all. You know what I mean? You'll know that no matter where I finish, you know what I mean. You'll know that I'm giving it my all. I'm not just cruising around. I'm trying to win.
I want to talk about your mindset because, you can say every race car driver has a great mindset. They're focused when they get to the track. You're different. You are uber focused, and I think you have an advantage in that regard. So, hey now. I'm like, what is going on here? So let's talk about that advantage that you have, because where does it come from, number one, and how do you think that helped you in Daytona, and how will it with other races?
Mindset is a big thing. I'm still at the stage, because I haven't been racing for 13 years, of figuring out where I want to be mentally going into a race day. You know what I mean? I might overthink it right now. You know what I mean? Like the way I'm planning of what I'm eating tomorrow and where I want to be and mentally, what I think I need to do. But I think the focus just comes from knowing in the past that I've done a lot of things in my life that I'm proud of, but also things I look back and I go, man, I wish I tried harder in that moment. I could have had better results if I gave it my all. And that's the biggest thing right now that I've learned from my past is I want to show up tomorrow and give it 100%. And if I do that, the result maybe doesn't matter as much to me, right? Because if I feel like I did it and I didn't, maybe I should have done this or I should have done that, or I should have watched more tape, or I should have, practiced on the sim more, whatever it may be. I've been doing all those things and doing everything I can outside the car. So when we get in the car for that 30 minutes, I'm more prepared for what's to come. So, like I said, I'm still figuring it out. You know what I mean? Like Daytona was intense. I woke up in Daytona, I felt so sick. Honestly, I was so nervous that I went to the medical center. No one knows that, and they gave me Zofran for my I was so nauseous, and it's just that unknown of like Daytona, not knowing what it was going to be, the big one, what it was going to feel like, because you don't get to be in that draft until lap 1. You know what I mean? But as soon as I put my helmet on, literally, I was actually in tears on the grid. Not because I was scared. That was more of like, I can't believe I'm here. I can't believe it's actually happening. But the minute I put my helmet on and we started going down the pit lane, I was so confident. I felt like I was exactly where I was supposed to be. And getting in that race, like feeling things for the first time, like nothing made me feel intimidated. I felt like I knew what I was doing. I had it. And when we decided to go towards the front, we went from, I think, 12th to 3rd in a lap or two. And we're running really strong. I think a caution came out, and this is probably what jinxed it. But I came on the radio, go, excuse me, I'm going to curse. I go, we can win this race. Like, it hit me. I was like, we can win this race.
Great feeling.
We got this. You know what I mean? Because the car was so good. I felt confident. Like I knew I knew how to move through the pack, and unfortunately got into a little bit of an incident. Had a pit. I think we went to 34th or 35th, and with a lap to go, ended up finishing 11th. So we moved through the field. It was the most amazing feeling in the world. Obviously, I would have loved to know what would happen if we didn't have to pit for damage, but it makes me excited for Talladega, and it also proved to myself that I can do it. You know what I mean? It proved to me that like I do belong here, and hopefully other people saw that and take maybe this effort a little bit more seriously.
It's more than just a slogan. General Tire delivers for whatever you do. General Tire's Grabber X3 mud terrain tire offers aggressive styling and is engineered for durability with innovative performance features that are ready to carry you through extreme mud, dirt, and rock-covered terrain. For extreme traction that's ready for anything and rugged styling to match, look no further than the Grabber X3. General Tire delivers for whatever you do. Check out GeneralTire.com today. General Tire, aggressively styling the SpeedFreaks since 2001.
From the labs at Lucas Oil Products, Lucas Oil Complete Engine Treatment is a multifunctional cleaner plus lubricant. For every fill-up of gas or diesel, add one 16-ounce can of Lucas Oil Complete Engine Treatment. One bottle can treat a tank of up to 21 gallons. Its special additives allows a better fuel burn to help increase your miles per gallon. Expect longer engine life, longer oil life, cleaner exhaust, and less fuel consumption. Lucas Oil, it works.
Okay, hold on. That's another question. I want to know who's thinking that you're not taking this seriously, but we'll get to that in a second. You talk about being sick. What else in your life have you felt like that before? Was it on set? Was it getting married? Was it opening a new business, like your real estate business? Have you ever felt that way before?
I've never, I've done a lot of things that would make you feel nervous. Like I've felt nerves before in my life. Like, when I'm going to perform or make a speech, like I don't, even though I'm an actor, like I still get really shy to kind of put myself out there like that. There's never been that feeling or that emotion that I felt before getting into the race car. And even during and after, like the joys of like the feeling I had after that race, or on Thursday in Daytona, we were fastest in practice. I got out of the car, I felt like I had just won the Powerball. Even though it was practice and it doesn't matter, but it made me go like, we're here, like this is it. You know what I mean? So it was an amazing feeling. So like the nerves, everything about all of it kind of is amplified. You know what I mean? But no, I would say I've never felt the way I felt before the Daytona race. Nothing even came close.
Would your wife agree? I know she's over there watching.
I think she would, because she had to put up with me being a neurotic mess before we got in the car. But I was really surprised because, this is the first race that, she had been there with me, and she was super cool all week. That morning of the race, or even like walking on the grid, she was trembling. You know what I mean? And
Wait, who was worse, you or her?
We were both pretty bad, but we both had the same emotion when we got done, or when I got finished, right? She ran up to me, and this is actually really funny. She ran up to me, and I was still in the car. I was so exhausted. And she came up to the car, she put the window net down, and she's like, "You just finished the Daytona 500." And I go, 200, you know, but same difference.
Yeah, just 300 off. It's okay.
I'm so happy you're proud of me.
Well, clearly your wife is one of your biggest supporters. Can we get back to what you just said, though? I don't understand this. Who's thinking you're not taking it seriously? And did those people not follow you in Atlantics? Have they not followed you on social media about how much of a big racing person you are?
I don't know if they're not thinking that I'm necessarily taking it seriously, but you know, being an actor, people knowing me as Malcolm or Agent Cody Banks, you know, sometimes people kind of see you only as that one thing. So
Typecasting in Hollywood? What?
you know what I mean? But jumping into this world, into this sport, it's not easy. You know what I mean? So a lot of people think it's like a publicity thing, or it's just for a hobby, or I'm just doing it for fun, or I'm wasting my money, or whatever kind of thing. I'm here with the intention of moving it as high as I can up the NASCAR ladder. You know, with the end goal of being hopefully a team owner in the sport for a long time. You know, but this isn't a one-off. This isn't a one-time thing. And I don't know if they know what I did in the past as far as racing. You know, most of my competitors weren't alive when I raced in 2006. You know, I'm kidding. Well, actually, some of them. That's actually true. That's pretty scary.
You're right.
No, you're right. You know, so I don't know. You know, with social media, it wasn't as widespread of a story when I went racing in the past as this has been. But no, you know, I'm the first to say that, like, I know that I've got a lot to learn. You know what I mean? I know it's not going to be easy, like even tomorrow, but I am dedicated. I'm gonna do my best, and hopefully that's a top 10, top 5, a win. You know what I mean? We'll see.
I'm going back to that focus, Kenny. I'm going back to that focus. He's laser.
You ran Daytona, so I would think you're a little bit more secure about when Talladega comes up. Granted, you'll celebrate 6 birthdays by the time we freaking get to that race. You have 6 weeks off. But that is a beast, and you're telling me you only get 30 minutes of practice time on Talladega?
I don't know the exact schedule. Yeah, I think it's just one practice session. I mean, even Daytona, we had the official test the month before, but the official practice session was only 30 minutes. That was it, and then qualifying. So that's just you got to be ready to go. You know, all the stock car series are kind of doing that now, right? Very limited practice. You got to show up and hope you're fast off the truck, or you know, and go for it. So that's what we're doing.
And again, not to put it in your stomach again, but is that going to be another moment where you're going to be questioning your fortitude?
You know what's so funny? Like, the minute I got out of the car in Daytona, I said to the team owner and my crew chief, I said, I can't wait for Talladega because I know we can win that race. Like, I'm going there not going like, oh, I think we can be competitive. No, like, I know we can win that race. We can win that race, right? So it's a different mindset. At the same time, now that I've experienced Daytona and the craziness that it is inside the car, kind of go like, oh, shoot, I got to do it again. You know what I mean? Like, there were probably 9 times during that race that, like, I almost didn't survive. You know what I mean? So, but that's what's part of the fun of the super speedway racing, and that's what I think the fans love to watch. You know, that close, tight, insane racing, high speed, and I don't know. I'm excited for it. I'm excited for Phoenix, but I'm definitely looking forward to Talladega.
Yeah, sim racing is cool. So's Madden NFL football. But until you're out there in the middle of it, tasting it, smelling it, throwing it up, there is nothing like sitting in a hot race car.
You know, I don't think that you could duplicate the feeling of what it feels like to be in the driver's seat of those race cars at Daytona. Like, even me trying to explain it to you, it does no justice. I watched the Xfinity race right after, and I watched the Daytona 500, and I go, you don't get it. That's not what it looks like is not what it feels like. I promise. It's so insane. And I don't know. I loved it. It's one of those things, like, I'll be able to look back no matter what happens the rest of the season and think back at Daytona and think back what we did and go, that was one of the coolest things I've ever done in my life. And that's a pretty cool thing of all the cool things I've got to do, to have that at the top of my list.
Have any of the Xfinity Series drivers or Cup drivers offered advice without you asking, or have you had to ask for advice?
I've been very lucky. I've had so many people kind of coming up to me and like, hey, if you need help. Or I just was in Charlotte 2 days ago with doing some stuff with Ford, and it was me, Joey Logano, Ryan Blaney, and Cindric, and they were talking about watching my ARCA race, the Daytona race, and they're like, oh man, and they're giving, and I can kind of bounce ideas off them. But I've had people like Noah Gragson and Corey LaJoy. They've really kind of almost taken me under their wing. You know what I mean? Because they go, we didn't have somebody when we were coming up that did this for us. So even though I'm 10 years older than both of them, you know what I mean? It's still one of those things where, like, they want to see me succeed. You know, I'm not currently their competitor. You know what I mean? So they want to see me succeed, and I think that's a pretty cool thing. It makes me feel like I'm where I'm supposed to be as well.
And again, what was it that you took to get rid of that vomititis?
This is Zofran. I think my wife took that when she was pregnant a lot. You know.
Sponsorship opportunity. Just saying.
Frankie, it's always fantastic when you're on the Freak Nation. Thank you, buddy.
No, thank you so much. I love you guys so much, and hopefully I'll be quick tomorrow.